I sat in the back corner of Milestone's restaurant in downtown Vancouver, watching my family celebrate my younger brother's engagement like it was the event of the century. The private dining room buzzed with 37 relatives I hadn't seen in months, all gathered to toast Tyler and his fiancée. Madison, a lifestyle influencer with 200,000 Instagram followers and a personality that could cut glass. My mother stood at the head of the table, champagne flute raised, her voice carrying over the crowd. To Tyler and Madison, our son has done so well for himself. Madison comes from such a wonderful family. Her father owns 3 car dealerships across the Lower Mainland. We're so proud. I took a sip of my water and tried to disappear into my chair. And where's Zara? Someone asked Aunt Patricia, I think. My mother's smile tightened. Oh, she's here. Somewhere. Tyler spotted me and waved me over with the enthusiasm of someone who'd already had 3 glasses of wine. Come on, sis. Don't be antisocial. I made my way through the crowd and immediately felt Madison's eyes scan me from head to toe. I was wearing black jeans and a simple sweater, my standard weekend uniform, after spending 60 hours this week in the lab. Zara, Madison said, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. I love your casual vibe. Thanks, I said. My father appeared beside me, adjusting his tie. Zara, you could have dressed up a bit more. This is an important occasion. I came straight from work, Dad. Right. Your job. He said it the way someone might say your little hobby. Still doing that computer thing? I'm a quantum computing researcher at D-Wave Systems, I said for probably the 100th time in 5 years. We're working on quantum processors that could revolutionize. That's nice, dear, my mother interrupted, steering me away from a group of her friends. Listen, about the engagement party next month. Madison's photographer is flying in from Toronto, and we're trying to keep things cohesive. You understand. I didn't understand, but I nodded anyway. Madison touched my mother's arm. Mrs. Nakamura, can I be honest? My brand is very curated. The engagement photos are going to be featured in Vancouver Magazine, and I need everything to be perfect. The guests, the venue, the aesthetic, everything tells a story. Of course, my mother said quickly. Madison turned to me with practiced sympathy. Zara, no offense, but you're not really photo ready? Like, your hair, your style, it's very tech girl, which is fine for you, but doesn't match the vibe we're going for. My chest tightened. Are you uninviting me from my own brother's engagement party? We're not uninviting you, Tyler said, appearing at Madison's side. We're just saying maybe you could skip this one. You're always busy with work anyway. You wouldn't even enjoy it. Tyler, come on, Zara. You'd be uncomfortable. All of Madison's influencer friends will be there, photographers everywhere. You hate that stuff. He wasn't wrong, but that wasn't the point. So, I'm an embarrassment, I said quietly. Don't be dramatic, my mother said. We're just being practical. You can come to the wedding. This party is more about Madison's audience. I looked at my father, hoping for something, a defense, an acknowledgement, anything. He studied his shoes. Okay, I heard myself say. I understand. I left the restaurant 20 minutes later, my throat tight with unshed tears. I sat in my beat-up 2015 Honda Civic, another source of family shame, and let the reality sink in. My own family didn't want me at their celebration because I didn't fit their image. My phone buzzed. A message from Dr. Helena Chen, the lead scientist on my team. Emergency meeting tomorrow, 8 a.m. Defense Minister's office just approved Operation Cold Snap. We're greenlit for public announcement. I stared at the message. Operation Cold Snap was the project I'd spent 4 years developing, a quantum encryption system that would make Canada's national security infrastructure virtually unhackable. In 72 hours, the Prime Minister himself would be announcing it at a press conference. In 72 hours, my face would be on every news outlet in the country. In 72 hours, I'd be standing beside the Minister of Innovation, Science and Economic Development, as one of 3 lead scientists, receiving the Governor General's Innovation Award. And in 72 hours, It would be the exact same day as Tyler and Madison's engagement party. The irony wasn't lost on me. I texted Dr. Chen back. I'll be there. The next morning, I sat in the boardroom at D-Wave Systems' Burnaby headquarters, surrounded by the 12-person team that had made Operation Cold Snap possible. Security officials from the Canadian Security Intelligence Service stood at the back of the room. This was happening. The announcement is scheduled for Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Vancouver Convention Centre, Dr. Chen explained. The Prime Minister will be presenting the Governor-General's Innovation Award to you, Zara, along with Dr. Patel and Dr. Morrison. There will be media from across North America: CBC, CTV, Global, CNN, BBC. Everyone's covering it. My stomach twisted. Saturday at 2 p.m. Tyler's engagement party started at 3. Is attendance mandatory? I asked. Everyone turned to look at me. Mandatory? Dr. Chen repeated. Zara, this is the biggest recognition of your career. You're 29 years old, and you've developed encryption technology that will protect millions of Canadians. The Prime Minister specifically requested you be there. I know. My brother's engagement party is that day. Silence. Dr. Patel, a 53-year-old physicist who'd mentored me since I started at D-Wave, leaned forward. Did you just say you're considering missing a meeting with the Prime Minister for a party? They don't even want me there, I said quietly. At the party, I mean. I'm apparently bad for the aesthetic. More silence. Then, it's settled, Dr. Chen said firmly. You'll be at the convention center. Your family will understand. But I knew they wouldn't understand. They'd never understood. I went home that night to my small one-bedroom apartment in New Westminster, modest by Vancouver standards, but all I needed, and tried to figure out how to explain this to my parents. I couldn't tell them what the announcement was about. Operation Cold Snap was classified until Saturday. I could just say there was an important work event, but would they even care? My phone rang. Tyler. Hey, so Mom told Madison you were cool with skipping the party, he said without preamble. Thanks for being understanding. I know you're probably busy with work stuff anyway. Actually, Tyler, I need to talk to you about that. I have a work event on Saturday. Perfect. See, it all works out. Madison was worried you'd make it awkward. Tyler, listen to me. This event is really important. I'm receiving an award from... That's great, Zara. Good for you. Hey, I gotta go. Madison needs help picking out napkin colors. Talk later? He hung up before I could respond. I sat there in my quiet apartment, looking at my reflection in the darkened window. 4 years of 80-hour weeks. 4 years of solving problems that most people couldn't even comprehend. 4 years of building something that mattered. And my own family couldn't spare 5 minutes to listen. Thursday morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls from my mother. Zara, what is this about you skipping Tyler's party? Her voicemail said. Madison's mother just asked if there was a family problem. This is humiliating. Call me back immediately. I called her back during my lunch break. Mom, I tried to tell Tyler. I have a mandatory work event on Saturday. What event could possibly be more important than your brother's engagement? I wanted to tell her. I wanted to say that the Prime Minister of Canada would be shaking my hand in front of hundreds of people, that I was receiving one of the country's highest scientific honors, that my work would be featured on the evening news. But the words stuck in my throat. Why should I have to justify my importance to my own mother? It's important, Mom. I can't miss it. You're being selfish. Tyler has always been there for you. Tyler has never been there for me. Tyler doesn't even know what I do for a living. That's not true. He knows you work with computers. I'm a quantum computing researcher, Mom. I've been telling you this for 5 years. Well, it's all very complicated. The point is, this party is about family. Madison's family will think we're not close. Her father is a very successful businessman, and we need to make a good impression. What about my impression? What about me feeling included in my own family? Don't be dramatic. You can come to the wedding. But if you skip this party, Zara, don't expect us to keep making excuses for you. She hung up. I sat in my car in the D-Wave parking lot and cried for the first time in 3 years. Friday afternoon, Dr. Chen called me into her office. I just got off the phone with the minister's office, she said, smiling. They want to feature you prominently in tomorrow's announcement. Your story, young woman, daughter of immigrants, revolutionizing quantum security. It's exactly the narrative they want to highlight. My parents are from Victoria, I said. They're not immigrants. Your grandparents, then. The point is, you're the face of this project now. CBC wants to do a feature piece. Global News is running a profile. There's talk of you speaking at the G7 summit in October. This was everything I'd worked for. Everything I'd dreamed about since I was 16 and fell in love with quantum mechanics. So why did I feel so hollow? Dr. Chen, can I ask you something? Do your kids understand what you do? She smiled sadly. My daughter thinks I play with fancy calculators all day. My son knows I'm a scientist, but couldn't tell you the difference between quantum and classical computing if his life depended on it. But they're proud of me anyway, because they see how hard I work. They see that it matters to me. My family doesn't see that, I said quietly. Then maybe they need glasses, Dr. Chen said. Tomorrow, the whole country is going to see what we see, and maybe that'll be enough. Saturday morning arrived with rain pounding against my windows, typical Vancouver weather. I put on the navy suit I'd bought specifically for the ceremony, dried my hair carefully, even applied makeup. When I looked in the mirror, I barely recognized myself. Professional, polished, photo-ready. The thought made me laugh bitterly. My phone buzzed with a message from Madison's Instagram story. She'd posted a preview of the engagement party venue, the Fairmont Hotel Vancouver, decorated in blush pink and gold, with a caption that read, "Only the most important people in our lives today." Feeling so blessed and grateful. I wasn't tagged. Obviously, the convention center was packed when I arrived. News vans lined the street outside. Security officers checked credentials at every entrance. Inside the main hall, a stage had been set up with the Canadian flag as a backdrop. Rows of chairs faced the podium, already filling with journalists, government officials, and technology industry leaders. Zara! Dr. Patel waved me over to the green room where the award recipients were waiting. You look terrified. Don't be. You've done this before. I've never done this before. I've never even met the Prime Minister. Well, you're about to. He's backstage now, reviewing the speech. Wants to meet all of you personally before the announcement. My hands shook as I accepted a glass of water from a passing assistant. The Prime Minister was younger in person than he appeared on TV, with an easy smile and a firm handshake. Dr. Nakamura, I've been reading about your work. Fascinating stuff. My science advisor tells me you're one of the brightest minds in quantum computing. Thank you, sir. That's very kind. Not kind, true. What you've developed with Operation Cold Snap, this isn't just important for Canada's security. This is going to change how the entire world thinks about data protection. You should be very proud. I felt something crack inside my chest. A stranger, the leader of our country, was proud of me. But my own parents couldn't be bothered to ask about my work. At 1:45 p.m., we were escorted to the stage wings. I could hear the crowd settling into their seats, the low hum of conversation and camera equipment being adjusted. At 1:47 p.m., my phone vibrated. A text from Tyler. Mom's really upset you're not here. Madison's friends keep asking about you. This is embarrassing. I turned my phone off. At 2 p.m., the Minister of Innovation, Science and Economic Development stepped up to the podium. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. We are at a critical juncture in our nation's technological development. Cyber threats are evolving at an unprecedented rate, and Canada's security infrastructure must evolve with them. Today, I'm proud to announce Operation Cold Snap, a quantum encryption initiative that will position Canada as a global leader in cybersecurity. The room erupted in camera flashes. The minister continued, outlining the project's scope and impact. Then, this breakthrough wouldn't have been possible without the brilliant team at D-Wave Systems, and I'd like to introduce 3 individuals whose contributions have been extraordinary. Dr. Rajesh Patel, Dr. Sarah Morrison, and Dr. Zara Nakamura. We walked onto the stage together. The applause was deafening. I'd never felt more seen in my entire life. The Prime Minister presented each of us with the Governor General's Innovation Award, a crystal maple leaf mounted on polished wood. When he shook my hand, photographers rushed forward, capturing the moment from every angle. Dr. Nakamura, at 29, you're one of the youngest recipients of this award, the Prime Minister said into the microphone. What would you say to young people, especially young women, considering careers in quantum computing? I took a breath. The words came easier than I expected. I'd say that innovation requires courage. It requires the willingness to pursue ideas that other people might not understand. And sometimes, the people who don't understand are the ones closest to you. But that doesn't make the work any less important. If you believe in what you're doing, if you know it matters, pursue it anyway. Because eventually, the world catches up. More applause. More photos. The press conference lasted 90 minutes. Journalist after journalist asked about the technology, the implications, the timeline for implementation. CBC wanted an exclusive interview. CTV invited me to appear on their evening news program. A producer from The National asked if I'd be willing to participate in a documentary about women in STEM. By the time I escaped to the green room at 4:30 p.m., my phone had exploded with notifications. Hundreds of them. Messages from old classmates, former professors, colleagues, acquaintances I hadn't spoken to in years. And 3 missed calls from my mother. I called her back. Zara, where are you? Tyler's party is almost over and people keep asking about you. I've been making excuses all day. Mom, turn on the news. What? Turn on CBC right now. I heard rustling, then my father's voice in the background. What's going on? Then silence. I was on the screen, standing next to the Prime Minister, accepting the Governor General's Innovation Award. The chyron read, Vancouver scientist receives Canada's highest innovation honor for breakthrough in quantum security. Zara? My mother's voice was small. Is that you? Yes, Mom. That's me. That's what I was trying to tell you. That's the work event I couldn't miss. The mandatory event. The one where the Prime Minister of Canada personally thanked me for my contribution to national security. More silence. Why didn't you tell us? My father asked. I tried. You didn't listen. Tyler hung up on me. You told me I was being selfish. But Zara, this is incredible. Why didn't you say it was something this important? Why do I need to prove my importance to my own family? Why does my work only matter when it's on national television? I heard crying in the background. My mother. Sweetheart, we had no idea. If you'd known, you would have what? Actually cared about what I do? Actually asked me about my work instead of dismissing it as that computer thing? Actually made me feel like I matter? Zara, please. Come to the hotel. We can celebrate both Tyler's engagement and your award. Madison's parents are still here. Everyone wants to congratulate you. Madison's parents want to congratulate me? The same Madison who uninvited me because I wasn't aesthetic enough for her Instagram? She didn't mean it like that. Yes, she did. And you all agreed with her. You all decided I was an embarrassment. We're your family, my father said. We love you. We're proud of you. Are you proud of me? Or are you proud of what other people think of me now? Neither of them answered. That's what I thought, I said softly. Tell Tyler congratulations on his engagement. I hope Madison's photos turned out perfect. I hung up. Dr. Chen found me 20 minutes later, still sitting alone in the green room. You okay? She asked. I will be. Your family? Complicated. She sat down beside me. For what it's worth, I watched you on that stage today. The confidence, the clarity, the way you explained complex concepts to an audience that included people who don't know the first thing about quantum mechanics, that was remarkable. You've earned every bit of recognition coming your way. Thank you. And Zara? The people who matter, the people who see your value, we've been here all along. We've always been proud of you. Don't forget that. That night, I went home to my modest apartment in New Westminster. I placed the Governor General's Innovation Award on my bookshelf, next to my doctorate diploma and a photo of me at 16, standing in front of a science fair project on quantum entanglement. That girl had believed she could change the world. And somehow, despite everything, she had. My phone buzzed continuously throughout the evening. Messages from Tyler, from my parents, from relatives who'd ignored me at the restaurant just a week ago. Everyone suddenly wanted to congratulate me. Everyone suddenly understood how important my work was. I didn't respond to most of them. But I did respond to Dr. Morrison, my colleague from the award ceremony. Drinks tomorrow to celebrate? You earned it. And I responded to my old physics professor from UBC. Saw you on the news. I always knew you'd do something extraordinary. Proud of you. And I responded to Dr. Chen. Thank you for believing in me. Sunday morning, Madison posted a photo on Instagram from the engagement party. The caption read, "Perfect day with perfect people. Special shout out to my future sister-in-law, who couldn't make it due to work commitments. We understand how important your career is. So proud to be joining this accomplished family. Engagement party, family first, proud sister." The comments section exploded. Isn't that the scientist from the news? Wait, Tyler's sister is Dr. Zara Nakamura? The quantum computing genius? She won the Governor General's award, and you didn't invite her to your party? Madison, this is a bad look. I watched the comments multiply, then put my phone away. Their validation didn't matter. Their approval didn't matter. Their sudden interest in my existence didn't matter. What mattered was that I'd done the work. I'd pushed through the doubt and the dismissal and the loneliness. I'd built something that would outlast any party, any photo shoot, any carefully curated Instagram feed. Monday morning, Tyler called. "Zara, Madison feels terrible. She had no idea you were doing something so important. Can we meet for coffee? She wants to apologize." Why does she want to apologize? Because she made a mistake. We all did. We should have supported you. You should have supported me before I won an award, Tyler. You should have supported me when I was just your sister, doing work you didn't understand. You should have been curious about my life, proud of my accomplishments even if they weren't televised. The fact that you only care now that strangers on Instagram are calling you out, that tells me everything I need to know. That's not fair. We're family. Family doesn't uninvite you for not being photo ready. Family doesn't dismiss your life's work as that computer thing. Family doesn't need a prime minister to validate your worth. So what? You're just going to cut us off? I'm going to focus on the people who've been there all along. The people who valued me before I was on the news. The people who see me as more than an accessory to their image. Zara, come on. Congratulations on your engagement, Tyler. I genuinely hope you and Madison have a wonderful wedding, but I don't think I'll be there. I hung up before he could respond. My mother texted an hour later. Please don't do this. We're your family. We made mistakes, but we love you. I stared at the message for a long time before responding. I know you love me, but love without respect isn't enough. You've had 29 years to ask about my dreams, my work, my life. You've had 29 years to see me. I can't wait anymore. That afternoon, I met Dr. Chen, Dr. Patel, and Dr. Morrison at a cafe in Gastown. We toasted our success with overpriced lattes and talked about the next phase of Operation Cold Snap. We talked about the G7 summit. We talked about recruitment strategies for bringing more young people into quantum research. We talked about things that mattered. How are you doing? Dr. Patel asked me quietly while the others were debating encryption protocols. With your family situation? Honestly, I don't know. I'm angry. I'm hurt. But I'm also relieved. Like I finally stopped waiting for their approval. That's growth, he said. Painful, but necessary. Is it wrong that I want them to feel bad? That I want them to understand what they missed? It's human. You wanted to be seen. They didn't see you. Now they're facing consequences. He paused. But eventually, you'll need to decide whether you want justice or peace. Those aren't always the same thing. I thought about that for the rest of the day. By Wednesday, the story had been picked up internationally. BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera, Everyone wanted to talk about the young Canadian scientist revolutionizing quantum security. I did interviews from my apartment, from the D-Wave offices, from coffee shops where strangers occasionally recognized me and asked for photos. My inbox overflowed with messages from young women pursuing STEM degrees, thanking me for being visible, thanking me for proving it was possible. That meant more than any award. Thursday evening, my father showed up at my apartment building. The security guard called up to ask if I wanted to let him in. I almost said no, but curiosity got the better of me. He stood in my doorway looking smaller than I remembered. Older. "Can I come in?" he asked. I stepped aside. We sat in my tiny living room, the Governor General's Innovation Award visible on the bookshelf behind me. He stared at it for a long moment. "I've been thinking a lot this week," he said finally. "About all the times you tried to tell us about your work. About all the times we changed the subject or didn't ask questions. About all the ways we made you feel invisible." I didn't say anything. I told myself we were being supportive. "You seemed happy, successful. I thought you didn't need our validation." But that was just an excuse. The truth is, Tyler's accomplishments were easier to understand. Commercial pilot, engaged to someone from a successful family, it fit a narrative we recognized. "What you do, Zara, it's beyond my comprehension," and instead of trying to understand, I dismissed it. "Why are you here, Dad?" "Because I owe you an apology. Not because you won an award, not because you were on TV, because I failed you as a father. I should have been curious about your life. I should have celebrated your doctorate the way I celebrated Tyler's pilot's license. I should have asked questions. I should have listened." Tears pricked my eyes. "Do you know what I do, Dad? Actually know?" "No," he admitted, "but I'd like you to explain it to me. Not the simplified version you give at family dinners, the real version. I want to understand what you've dedicated your life to." So I told him. I explained quantum mechanics, superposition, entanglement. I showed him my research papers, my diagrams, my calculations. I walked him through the 4 years of development that led to Operation Cold Snap. He didn't understand most of it, but he listened, really listened. "I'm so sorry," he said when I finished, "for making you feel like this didn't matter. Like you didn't matter. I need you to understand something, Dad. I can forgive you, eventually. But I can't go back to how things were. I can't be invisible again. I can't compete with Tyler for your attention. I need you to actually see me not because of what I've accomplished, but because I'm your daughter." "I see you," he said quietly. "I finally see you. Then prove it. Prove it when there are no cameras. Prove it when I'm just working in a lab with no recognition. Prove it when it's inconvenient or complicated. Prove you value me for who I am, not what I've achieved." "I will. I promise." We sat in silence for a while. "Are you coming to Tyler's wedding?" he asked eventually. "I don't know. Madison hasn't apologized. Mom keeps making excuses for everyone. And Tyler still doesn't get it. He's young. I'm young too, Dad. But I still understand that people deserve respect." He nodded slowly. "You're right. You've always been right." After he left, I sat alone in my apartment and cried, not from sadness, but from something else. Release, maybe. Or the beginning of healing. My phone buzzed. A message from Dr. Chen. "NASA just reached out. They want to consult with you on quantum communications for their Mars mission. Interested?" I smiled through my tears. Yes, I was interested. The following weeks were a blur of interviews, consultations, and planning meetings. The G7 summit invitation was formalized. MIT offered me a guest lecture position. Harvard wanted to discuss a collaborative research opportunity. My life was expanding in ways I'd never imagined. Tyler's wedding invitation arrived in my mailbox 3 weeks later. Formal, elegant. Addressed to Dr. Zara Nakamura and guest. Madison had written a note on the back. "I'm sorry I didn't see you before. I hope you'll still be part of our celebration." It wasn't enough. But it was something. I thought about Dr. Patel's words, justice or peace. Which did I want? I called Tyler. "I got your invitation," I said. Will you come? On one condition. You sit down with me, just you and I tell you about my work. And you listen. Really listen. Not because you have to, but because you want to know who your sister actually is. Okay. When? Tomorrow. Coffee. 1 hour of your time. Deal. We met at a cafe near his apartment in Yaletown. He showed up on time, which surprised me. I'm listening, he said. So I told him everything. About quantum mechanics. About Operation Cold Snap. About the 4 years of late nights and failed experiments and breakthrough moments. About what it feels like to solve a problem that everyone said was impossible. He asked questions. Real questions. Why didn't you ever tell me this? He asked when I finished. I tried. You never asked follow-up questions. You'd say, "That's cool," and change the subject. Because I felt stupid, he admitted. You're obviously brilliant, Zara. You always have been. I barely graduated university. I'm not smart like you. I guess I assumed if I didn't understand what you were talking about, the conversation was over. Intelligence isn't one-dimensional, Tyler. You're a commercial pilot. You're responsible for hundreds of lives every time you fly. That takes skill and judgment and intelligence. But it's not quantum computing. So? It doesn't have to be. We can both be successful in different ways. The problem wasn't that you didn't understand my work. The problem was that you didn't value it because you didn't understand it. He was quiet for a long moment. You're right. I'm sorry. Thank you for saying that. Will you come to the wedding? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Yes, I said finally. But things are different now. I'm different now. I'm not going to shrink myself to make other people comfortable. If Madison's friends want to talk about Instagram filters, while I'd rather discuss quantum theory, I'm going to excuse myself. If someone dismisses my work, I'm going to correct them. I'm done being invisible. I wouldn't want you to be anything else, Tyler said. And I believed him. The wedding was in September, at a vineyard in the Okanagan Valley. It was beautiful. Madison had exquisite taste, I had to admit. The ceremony was touching. The reception was elegant. And I was there, in a dress I'd chosen myself, talking to people who actually asked about my work with genuine interest. My parents introduced me to Madison's parents as our daughter, the Governor General's Innovation Award winner. It felt performative, but it was better than being introduced as Tyler's sister who works with computers. Small steps. During the reception, Madison pulled me aside. Thank you for coming, she said. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. I was shallow and cruel. I made you feel worthless when you're anything but. Why did you do it? I asked. Honestly? Because you reminded me of everything I'm not. You have substance. You've built a career that matters. You've contributed something meaningful to the world. And I'm just an influencer. I sell skincare products and vacation aesthetics. When I looked at you, I felt inadequate, so I made you feel inadequate instead. It was the most honest she'd ever been with me. Being an influencer isn't inherently worthless, I said carefully. You've built a platform, a business, that takes work. But you can't tear other people down to feel better about yourself. That doesn't actually solve the underlying problem. I know. I'm working on it. Therapy, actually. Good. That's good. We stood there awkwardly for a moment. I hope we can start over, she said. I'd really like to get to know my sister-in-law. Maybe, I said. Let's see how it goes. That night, I sat outside on the vineyard terrace, looking at the stars. My father found me there. Penny for your thoughts? He asked. Just thinking about quantum superposition, I said. The idea that particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously until they're observed, and how, in some ways, people are like that too. We contain multitudes. Daughter and scientist. Hurt and hopeful. Angry and forgiving. All at once. That's very philosophical for a physicist. Physics is philosophical. That's what makes it beautiful. He smiled. I've been asking you about your work every day for the past month. Your mother too. We're trying. I know. I appreciate it. Are we forgiven? You're getting there, I said honestly. Forgiveness isn't a switch. It's a process. But I can see you're trying. That matters. He put his arm around my shoulders, and we sat there in comfortable silence, watching the stars. 3 months later, I stood in front of 200 people at the G7 summit in Toronto, presenting on the future of quantum security. World leaders listened. Technology executives took notes. Journalists covered every word. Afterward, a young woman approached me, couldn't have been more than 22. Dr. Nakamura, I'm a physics major at McGill. Watching you speak today, you have no idea how much it means to see someone who looks like me, who's around my age, doing what you're doing. I've spent my entire degree feeling like I don't belong, like I'm not smart enough or confident enough. But seeing you up there, it made me think maybe I can do this too. I took both her hands. You can do this. You absolutely can do this. And when people dismiss you or underestimate you or make you feel small, keep going anyway. Because your work matters, even if they can't see it yet. She nodded, tears in her eyes. Thank you. After she left, I stood alone in the conference hall and thought about the journey that had brought me here. The years of doubt. The family dinners where I felt invisible. The engagement party I wasn't invited to. The moment I chose myself over their approval. It had been painful, but it had been necessary. Because here's what I learned. You can't wait for other people to validate your worth. You can't shrink yourself to fit someone else's expectations. You can't let their inability to understand diminish your purpose. Your value isn't determined by who recognizes it. It exists independent of external validation. And sometimes, the most radical thing you can do is believe in yourself when no one else does. To pursue your calling even when it's lonely. To stand firm in your truth even when people you love can't see it. Because eventually, if you're lucky, the world catches up. And if it doesn't, you'll have built something meaningful anyway. That's enough. That has to be enough. My phone buzzed with a text from my mother. Watching your G7 presentation on CBC. Your father is crying. We're so incredibly proud of you, sweetheart. I smiled and put my phone away. They were proud now. And maybe, with time and effort, that pride would become unconditional. Maybe they'd learn to see me, really see me, beyond the awards and headlines. Or maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they'd always need external validation to recognize my worth. But either way, I knew my value now. I'd found my people, the colleagues who'd believed in me from the beginning, the mentors who'd pushed me to be better, the young students who saw themselves in my story. I'd found my purpose. And I'd stopped waiting for permission to pursue it. That was the real victory. Not the award, not the recognition, not the Prime Minister's handshake or the news coverage, or my family's belated approval. The victory was learning to see myself clearly, to believe in my own worth, to choose peace without sacrificing dignity. The victory was refusing to be invisible anymore.